Look at the logo stitched onto the last company polo shirt you saw. Somebody got paid to turn that logo into a file, and they did it from a laptop at a kitchen table for a company they've never visited. That job has a name almost nobody knows, and it's one of 7 I want to show you today. None of them are content. None of them are drop shipping. They're duller than all of that. Paperwork mostly. And the dullness is the entire reason they pay. Because here's the rule nobody says out loud. In business, boring is a moat. The exciting idea gets copied by 10,000 people the week it works, and the margins vanish. The boring one just sits there, quiet and open, paying whoever finally walks in. And there's one thread running through all 7. I'll give it to you now because once you see it, you'll spot these everywhere. Let me be honest with you first. None of these are passive, and none are easy money. Every one is a real skill you'd have to learn and real work you'd have to do, most of it on a screen, much of it tedious. What they are is undersupplied. Jobs businesses genuinely need done and genuinely don't want to touch. So here's the thread. Every one of these solves a repeating problem, not a one-time favor, a pain that comes back next month and the month after, forever. That's what turns a task into an income. Number 1, embroidery digitizing, the one from the opening. An embroidery machine can't read an image file. It needs a stitch file that tells the needle exactly where to go, in what order, at what density. Converting artwork into that file is called digitizing, and it's a genuine skill with real software behind it. Embroidery shops need it constantly because they can't stitch a single hat for a new client until it's done. Most shops would rather send the logo out and get a file back than learn the software themselves. That's the gap. The mistake that kills people here is trusting the software's auto-digitize button and never test stitching the result. A design that looks perfect on screen can pucker and jam on real fabric and ruin a shop's order once, and that shop never calls you again. Number 2, parcel invoice auditing. This one is essentially finding money that's already been lost. Every company shipping at volume gets overcharged. A late delivery that triggers a refund, a wrong dimension, a duplicate charge, a service billed but never used. The carriers have refund policies for exactly this. Almost nobody claims them because reading a shipping invoice line by line is genuinely mind-numbing work. So you read it, you find the errors, you file the claims, and you take a percentage of what you recover. Notice what just happened there. You only get paid on money you actually find, which is an unusually honest business model. The mistake that kills it, the dispute windows are short and strictly enforced. Audit monthly instead of weekly, and most of the recoverable money quietly expires. And stay with me, because the next one is where the documents get much bigger. Number 3, lease abstraction. A commercial lease can run 50, 80, sometimes over 100 pages of dense legal text. Buried in there are the things that actually matter: when rent escalates and by how much, renewal windows, who pays for which repairs, penalty clauses. Property firms managing hundreds of buildings need all of that pulled out into a clean, usable spreadsheet. Reading leases and extracting those terms is called abstraction, and it is exactly as thrilling as it sounds, which is the point. Commercial real estate never stops moving, so every acquisition and every renewal creates another stack that somebody has to work through. The mistake here is speed over accuracy. One missed escalation clause can cost a client real money, and in a referral-driven industry, that's your reputation gone in a single job. Number 4, local lead generation sites. You build a simple website for an unglamorous local service: pest control, roof repair, tree removal. Get it ranking for searches in one town, and then rent the leads it produces to a local business that would rather do the work than the marketing. You never touch the actual service. You own a small piece of digital real estate that happens to be where customers look first. The mistake that kills it is going broad. A site targeting a huge competitive market will never rank, while a narrow one in a specific town genuinely can. Narrow enough to win beats big enough to impress every time. Number 5. Niche job boards. One page, one industry, listings from employers who can't find candidates anywhere else. General job boards are a bloodbath, but a board for one specific trade or specialty has almost no competition because it's too small for anyone big to bother with. Employers pay per listing, and the ones who hire regularly turn into repeat customers. The mistake is the obvious one: launching empty. An empty job board dies immediately because nobody posts to a ghost town and nobody visits one either. The fix is to seed it. Fill it with free listings first so it never looks abandoned. Number 6. Compliance and filing services. Businesses have to file things: annual reports, registration renewals, permit paperwork, deadlines that carry penalties if missed. It is pure administrative tedium, and small business owners are terrible at it. Not because they're careless, but because it's nobody's actual job and it always loses to whatever's on fire that day. So they hand it off. It's recurring by definition because the deadlines come back every single year on a schedule. The mistake? This is a field where an error has consequences, so anyone doing it has to genuinely know the requirements in the jurisdictions they serve rather than guessing. And that brings us to the last one, the most boring screen job on this entire list, and the one that builds the largest businesses by a distance. Number 7. Freight brokerage. Here's the whole thing. A company has goods that need to move from one city to another. Somewhere out there is a truck with empty space heading that direction. Neither one knows the other exists. The broker sits in the middle, matches them, and takes a cut of the load. You never touch the freight and you never drive anything. You move information, and money moves to you. The scale underneath this is enormous. America runs on hundreds of thousands of small trucking companies, most of them just a few trucks with no sales team and no reliable idea where their next load is coming from. They need a middleman permanently. Now the honest part, because this one is different from the other 6. Freight brokerage is a licensed activity in the U.S. You need broker authority from the federal regulator and a surety bond posted before you can legally arrange a single load. That's a real barrier, and it's also precisely why the field isn't flooded. The mistake that can end you here is fraud. A carrier taking your load and secretly handing it to a truck you never vetted. Verify every carrier every time. Skipping 10 minutes of checks can cost more than a month of margin. Now step back and look at all 7, because the pattern is the actual point of this video. Not one of them is an invention. There's no new idea in any of them. Every single one is a task a business already needs done that repeats on a schedule and that the business would genuinely rather pay someone else to handle. That's it. That's the whole model. And every one of them is protected by the same thing. Not a patent, not technology, but the fact that it sounds too dull to fight over. Ambitious people want a business that says something about them at dinner. There's nothing to say about auditing shipping invoices, so the lane stays open. So here's the one thing to take with you. Don't pick the one with the biggest number attached to it. Pick the one that annoyed you the least while you were listening. That reaction is real information. It's telling you which of these you could actually stand to do on a Tuesday afternoon in month 7 when it stopped being interesting and it's just work. That tolerance is the whole skill. Everything else is learnable. Because the difference between the people quietly running these and everyone watching this video isn't intelligence or connections or timing. They just picked something boring and started, while everyone else waited for something more exciting to come along. It never comes. That's the part worth sitting with. The exciting business is always crowded, always copied, always 3 years past its best moment by the time you hear about it. The boring one has been sitting there the whole time, unlocked, with nobody in the queue. Tell me in the comments which number you'd actually look into. Just the number. And subscribe, because next I'm taking one of these and running the real math on the board. I'll see you there.